As you all know, Flowey is the main villain of Undertale, but he's also my best friend. Since he is my best friend, I will give him the treatment that royal scientists get, which is a theory on him. This is a sequel to my Alfie's video, so watch that because it explains what happens before Flowey is created. This video will explain what happens after he's created, and let me say, it is quite dark, so be warned. Anyways, enough hyping him up, it's time we finally talk about Flowey. Starting off, what happened after Flowey was created? Well, he explains his backstory in the genocide route, so I just have to copy his homework. So, it all begins when he wakes up in the garden. He's confused. He remembers his previous life as a surreal with all the happiness and tragedy that happened with the people he cared about. Of course, the person he cared about the most no longer exists, so he goes to the next person he cared about, a score, because he found him in the garden. He explains the plot and the two live happily ever after. Only one problem. The problem is Flowey is compassionless, and therefore all the time he spends with a score means nothing with him. He then goes to find his mother, since he believes her of all people can make him happy. But just like a score, she fails and Flowey has a new idea. His first idea is to kill himself. This idea is about him not being happy with life and thus deciding he can't live in this world. This is a really dark idea, and what makes it darker is the fact he actually commits to it. At first, he thought he had reached the end again, but instead he came back to life in the very same garden. This is because he has the most determination in the underground, and said being with the most determination can come back to life, essentially being immortal. Knowing this, he comes up with a new idea. The idea in question is to help everyone in the underground. You see, since Flowey comes back and retains his memories after he dies, he can help everyone since he remembers what they did last time. For example, say a monster made a mistake on something like their test. Flowey could go back in time and tell them the answers to said test, which would make them succeed. He would do this with pretty much everyone and even participate in many things. Sometimes he would even mess around with the characters. As time went on though, he started getting bored and everyone started becoming predictable. While some are more unpredictable than others, even they would be considered boring. Well, what does he do now that everyone's become boring for him? Well, since he has literally no option and since he can undo any mistake, he tries out something new. This new thing would be killing, since he has to know what happens when he kills them. After all, he can go back in time like nothing ever happened. So, what happens after he kills them? Well, it turns out that this is the closest thing he can feel to any sort of joy, so he does it over and over. This results in a time loop with everyone in the underground having to die over and over again. Well, except for a score, who is strong enough to not die to Flowey, so he can't get the human souls. This leaves him to resort to killing everyone over and over in the game. This goes on for an unknown amount of time, but stops for one major reason. You see, Frisk Undertale decides to hop in the underground, and since they are an actual human, they have more determination than Flowey, so he's now powerless to do anything. And that, my friends, is the story of Flowey. What, did you expect me to tell the story of Undertale? Nah, this isn't the story of Undertale video. Anyways, you may wonder how this counts as a theory, and it's quite simple. You see, if you were someone who doesn't have a short attention span and doesn't have 50 videos playing at once, you could hear me say the phrase a known amount of time, and if you know me, then you know that I want to know what is a known even if I shouldn't. With the rest of the phrase being amount of time, it gives me a question to answer for this to be a theory. That being, when does the whole Flowey arc happen? Starting off, if you did happen to watch my last theory, firstly, thank you, and secondly, if that theory is correct, then that would mean Flowey would have to start everything in the 2100s. If this theory is correct, then it would give us a time frame for Flowey having to do all this in the range of a decade, and I think that's the answer. You see, the ability to save or reload is only an ability that not only exists but also functions strictly in the underground. This means that the humans live their lives as normal and time progresses as normal. Assuming this, I have a feeling Flowey did a speedrun of his arch in 1 year and then caused a time loop for a decade, and once Frisk falls in, I have a feeling that would be a century after Charu, and considering how connected Frisk and Charu are, I have a feeling it would be narratively satisfying if the two had a journey of the underground a century apart from each other. Well folks, there you have it. I know I went on a bit of a tangent at the end, but it doesn't really matter. Like and subscribe, and one more thing before I go. If you watched this video, you may remember me saying my next Deltroon video will be on August 31st, and now that this video is finally done, I now can work on that script without anything script-wise getting in the way. I still have quite a few videos to edit at the time of writing, but I don't care. Anyways, I've got better things to do, and I'm sure you have better things to do, so I'll see you all on August 31st, unless you watch my shorts.